They say that if you're driving alone on an empty road at midnight and you see someone standing by the roadside waiting for a ride that never comes, you shouldn't stop. You shouldn't look at them. And under no circumstance should you let them in. But I stopped, and now I never sleep the same again. My name is Derek. I'm 28, not a truck driver, just an ordinary guy who, on one damned night, chose the wrong road. It all started after a friend's birthday party in a small mountain town. Instead of staying the night, I decided to head home. It was around 11:30 p.m. Cold air, heavy fog blanketed the road. My phone was under 5%, and I had no charger in the car. But I knew the way. Just take Highway 58 straight, pass a fork, hit the main freeway. Easy. I said I'd be home in 2 hours. But some roads aren't made to lead you anywhere. They're made to lose you. My car isn't that old, but that night, it felt like even the engine had a bad feeling. The static on the radio was louder than usual, and the fog was so thick, my headlights barely lit a few meters ahead. The road was completely empty, no cars coming the other way, not a single red light in the distance. And just as I was thinking how heavy the silence felt, I saw him, a man, standing by the roadside, right in the middle of the fog. At first, I thought maybe it was just a tree branch or a log, but the closer I got, the clearer it became. It was a person, tall, thin, wearing a long brown coat. He didn't move, didn't raise his hand, just stood there, like a statue frozen in fog. I shouldn't have lifted my foot off the gas, but I did. I slowed down. Don't know why. Maybe curiosity, maybe pity, but nothing in this world could have prepared me for what I was about to see. I rolled down the passenger window. Cold air hit my face. There was a strange smell, metallic, no, rusty and damp. I gently said, "Hey, you all right?" The man slowly turned his head toward me, his face still hidden by the shadows. And right then, a shiver ran down my spine. His face was normal, not wounded, not scary, but that's what made it so terrifying. Pale skin, emotionless eyes, and a faint scar from the corner of his mouth down to his chin. He said, "It's a long way still?" And before I could say anything, he opened the door and got in. He sat, closed the door, and stared straight ahead, as if he had always belonged there. He didn't ask where I was going. He didn't say where he needed to go. He just sat, motionless, and as if everything was normal. My throat was dry. I forced a fake smile and said, "So, Night Rider, where are you headed?" Without looking at me, he whispered, "Forward." I stepped on the gas. The engine's sound in the fog suddenly felt heavier. The temperature inside the car dropped, not freezing, just enough to make my skin crawl. I glanced at the mirror. Something was wrong. His reflection wasn't there. The passenger seat looked empty, but when I turned my head, he was still sitting beside me. My heart stopped for a second. I took a deep breath, trying to think logically. Maybe it was just the angle, maybe the fog, maybe my brain. But deep down, my mind whispered, "You picked up something you shouldn't have." I turned on the radio to distract myself. Just static. Every frequency was empty. Until a faint voice appeared. A woman's voice, broken and unclear. "You shouldn't have let him in." I immediately turned the radio off. My hands gripped the wheel tighter. He remained still, not blinking, not moving. I whispered, "What's your name?" Silence. Then slowly, he answered, "It used to be Derek." My heart froze. I turned toward him. "What did you just say?" But he only smiled. That cold, meaningless smile. I slammed the brakes. The car stopped in the middle of the road. I said, "Look, man, I need answers. Either tell me who you are or get out." He slowly turned his head toward me. For the first time, our eyes met, and he whispered, "You are me. I just arrived late. If you followed the story this far, please like the video so I know you're still behind the wheel, because what comes next is where the nightmare begins." For a few seconds, I just stared at him. It felt like my body was frozen. I wanted to speak, to scream, to ask something, but my tongue wouldn't move. He said one sentence, "You are me. I was just late." What does that even mean? Was I him? Was he me? My breathing got heavy. I lowered my head, closed my eyes, and sat in silence. When I opened my eyes, there was no one. Passenger seat, empty. No door opening, no sound, nothing. Just gone. My heart started pounding. My hands were trembling. I looked in the mirror again. Still no reflection of the passenger seat. But when I looked directly, it was empty. I threw the door open, jumped out of the car. The air was colder than before. My breath turned to fog. I circled the car, screaming, "Hey, where are you? Where did you go?" No answer. Just fog. Just silence. Then I walked to the trunk. I don't know why. Something told me, "Open it." I reached out, grabbed the handle, and right at that moment, I heard the car door shut from the inside. That click in the silence of the road sounded like a gunshot. I turned back toward the car. The headlights had turned on by themselves. The engine was off, but the lights were on. I slowly walked to the driver's side. My hand froze on the handle. I opened the door. My seat was still empty, but the passenger seat was full again. He was back, silent, calm, staring down the road. Didn't look at me, didn't speak. I sat down. Don't ask me why. Maybe I'd given up. Started the car. The engine rumbled, but the road was different. The fog hadn't lifted, but signs had appeared. One read, "Welcome back." Another, "We've been waiting." I felt like I'd entered a place you don't come back from. I cleared my throat and said quietly, "Who are you?" He smiled, that same chilling smile, and said, "I'm who you left behind." If you're still with this story, I have one question for you. If you were in my place on that damned road riding with someone who looked just like you, would you let him stay or would you tell him to get out? Leave me a comment. Tell me what you'd do, because I still don't know if my choice was right. When he said, "I'm the one you left behind," my heart stopped. I felt frozen, like someone realizing they're not in a dream, but in a reality they were never prepared for. I pressed the gas and we moved forward. No road signs looked familiar. The trees looked like black shadows slowly passing us by. The road kept twisting, but I never felt like the direction was changing. It felt like we were trapped in a loop. The clock in the car stayed frozen at 12:03 a.m., the same time my phone had died. I turned to him and said, "Who are you really? Why are you with me?" He answered calmly as always, "Because I'm you, when you decided to forget." Forget what? My voice trembled. My lips were dry. My hands clenched the wheel so tight my knuckles ached. He stared at me, and this time I saw something new in his eyes. Something I can only describe as sorrow. A deep sadness like an old wound inside the mind. He softly said, "That night, Route 58, 10 years ago, you crashed, Derek, but you chose to forget. I'm the part of you that stayed behind." I couldn't breathe. I instinctively eased off the gas. The car started slowing down. My mind was shaking, not from fear but from memory. 10 years ago? Yes. A winter night, on this very road. I was driving home with my brother Andrew. Fog, darkness, high speed, and a sharp turn. Then I only remember the car spinning and falling. And then, only I returned from the hospital. His voice now was quieter, like a whisper from the depths of memory. I stayed in the car, you survived, but you turned your back on me. You forgot everything, that night, even me. Tears filled my eyes, not from fear but from the truth I had buried for years. That night, I wasn't alone. I was driving, and my brother Andrew was beside me. When the car flipped, I was thrown out through the window, but he stayed in the car and burned. I never told anyone. Everyone thought I was alone, and I let them believe it. I turned toward him. Now his face was clearer. This wasn't a stranger. This was Andrew. His face, the faint scar beside his lip. His eyes, the same eyes I saw for the last time before the crash. He smiled and said, "Now that you remember, it's time for you to leave." I asked, "Leave where?" He replied, "To life." And before I could say anything, the road disappeared. I blinked, just once, and I found myself behind the wheel. Engine off, parked beside the road. No fog, no sound, no one in the passenger seat. It's only me, with a heavy memory and tears streaming uncontrollably down my face. The sun was rising. The road was back again. Everything looked normal. But I was no longer the same. I turned the key. The engine started. I drove slowly forward. In the mirror, for just a second, I saw Andrew sitting beside me, smiling, nodding softly. And then he vanished. That night wasn't a second chance to fix anything, because some things can never be fixed. It was a chance to finally face what I had been running from for years. Now, every time I drive down that road, I lift my foot off the gas just for a second, and I glance at the passenger seat. Not to see someone sitting there, but to know he's still with me.